our mission took an unexpected twist. I don't know how it happened, we were following the map and then we fell into a trap obscured by mist. We'd been captured by a local tribe who had a scary, silent vibe. Apparently we couldn't bribe their favour. They tied us up with gags and hoods and carried us like sacks of spuds and made it clear we were their favourite flavour. Once in their camp, they sat us down and all their children gathered round to learn about the process of their food. The women were unwrapping us like new delivered packages until at last they left us in the nude. They lit a massive cooking pot and waited till it got so hot we couldn't help but sweat under its heat. That's when they started licking us and tasting us and picking us to be the flavour of a savoury treat. The cooks kept mopping up our taste, no drop of sweat would go to waste. They worked for hours while we watched on in fear. We saw the tribesmen eating lunch and blanched at what we saw them munch, a human foot, an elbow and an ear. Our worst fears had been verified as we all sat there terrified and praying for a miracle to save us. Through our tears and helpless cries we watched with horror and surprise at the severed human limbs they came and gave us. Although we had no appetite, they forced us all to take a bite and so my mouth was filled with half a hand. Nearly gagging as I chewed, it took a while to taste the food, but when I did, I really couldn't understand. The flavour was unusual, and though the look of it was casually created to resemble human flesh, it was obvious it wasn't meat that they were forcing us to eat. The texture was too soft and tasted fresh. Apparently, these cannibals had learned to cook with vegetables they made to look like things they used to eat. The whole tribe had found compassion, eating only vegan rations that they made to look and taste like human meat. Once we'd finished lunch together, and they freed us from our tethers, they returned our clothes all freshly washed and dried. Then they led us to the jungle's edge and set us free and gave us veggie fingers, thumbs and toes, all lightly fried. Well, we safely made it back to base and told our tale to every face we met, but most just laughed and walked away. But for those of us who'd had a taste of animals' lives that go to waste, we've all been vegan ever since that day. Thank you. This one's called Vigil. We're here to bear witness to you, the condemned, soon to be murdered by ruthless men. And though it won't help you to have us here, please know that we're grieving and shedding a tear. Your miserable lives were spent on death row, unable to move and with nowhere to go. And what was your crime that brings you here now? You were born a pig, sheep, chicken or cow. You arrived by the thousands in trucks every day, a nightmare of a journey in every way, taken from that hellhole that was your life and brought to a new hell and the butcher's knife. The lorry will take you far out of our sight, but we'll still hear your screams well into the night as you're standing in line for your turn to be killed and you're watching it happen and the fridges are filled. Now the truck drives out empty and another arrives, more meat for the masses, more innocent lives, and the most we can do is just watch you in vain, ashamed to be human, full of heartache and pain. We're here to bear witness to you, the condemned, and we'll keep on coming till this Holocaust ends, until the law recognises that all animals' lives are worth more than a sandwich to be sliced up with knives. Thank you. I've been told to get off, so I'm going to do one more. This one's called The Curse of the Vegan Weirdwolf. I was walking through the forest just about a month ago when I came across a naked man pacing to and fro. He looked a little anxious, so I went to say hello, but he was startled when he saw me and demanded that I go. He was getting very agitated, acting like a loon. He said I would regret it if I wasn't gone real soon. He pointed to the sky just as the clouds revealed the moon. Then he fell onto his knees before collapsing in a swoon. I didn't understand what had happened to this man. I knelt beside his body, but his body then began to change, an aberration, a transformation that I can only explain as terrifying. And I was crying as I ran. And as I ran, I heard a howling that chilled me to my bone. And as I ran, I felt for certain that I'd die out there alone. And as I ran, I saw a shadow up ahead and gave a groan. And as I ran into the werewolf, he dropped me like a stone. Now I was moaning on the ground as he howled and gave a roar. And he loomed above me, slavering saliva from his jaw. As I raised my hand, he bit my finger off, then spat it out and swore, "Ugh, vegan food," barked the werewolf. "I don't want any more." So I survived that awful night and the werewolf attack. And I made it to the hospital where I stitched my finger back. Although it looks a little hairy and the fingernails gone black, but I'm okay, as 1 month later I enjoy a healthy snack and I sit back in the garden and listen to a tune. I can feel it getting colder on this autumn afternoon, and the sky is getting darker. The night will be here soon, but then my finger starts to throb as it points to the full moon. Now I'm feeling really queasy and I think I might be sick. My heart is turning cartwheels and beating really quick. My body's growing bigger as my bones all give a click, and new hair is sprouting everywhere, very, very thick. My whole being feels a bloodlust I acknowledge with a howl, and the scent of life is everywhere, so sweet and yet so foul. And suddenly I'm in the street and letting out a growl, so silently and stealthily around the town I prowl. And as I prowl, I see the people running for their lives. And as I prowl, I hear the husbands screaming for their wives. And as I prowl, I smell their fear as my ferociousness arrives. And as I prowl around a corner, I get a whiff of chives. Now my howling's uncontrollable, and my tongue begins to drool as I'm racing past the houses and the station and the school until I finally reach my quarry. It's a treasure full of jewels as I burst through the allotment and scatter all the tools. And I'm going on a rampage. I couldn't be more savage as I'm murdering the parsnips, the carrots and the cabbage, decapitating cauliflowers, doing so much damage as I leave a trail of turnips and potatoes in the carnage. Now every month, the change will take me in the middle of the night, when the moon is at its fullest and it's shining big and bright. All the farmers and the grocers with their pitchforks try to fight, but there's no way that they can keep me from my vegetable delight. Because I'm hungry vegan werewolf, with convictions way too strong to be deflected by defective carnage werewolves in the wrong. In a massacre of plants is where I know that I belong. So I'll make the kill and have my fill of veggies all night long. Thank you very much.
Give it up for Paul. Thank you, Paul. Paul is going to be doing some more poetry tomorrow. Paul, do you have any poetry books this weekend? Yeah, he's got some in his van. He does have some in his van. So if you would like to have a copy, great for the family, then do go and have a word with Paul. We're just going to have a quick changeover and we're going to get our next artist up for Freedom Fields 2025. How are we doing out there? Great, thank you. Thank you for